תראה כולם רצים, תראו את האנשים, תראו את האנשים.
דודי, מה יהיה? יומיים ברצף?
הופה. תפילות.
Israel is under renewed assault as Iran continues its unprecedented missile and drone campaign, now entering its second week of escalation. Overnight, into today, multiple Iranian ballistic missiles and drones targeted major Israeli cities in a fierce attempt to bypass Israel's advanced defenses and inflict maximum damage. The latest strikes struck again in the south, with Be'er-Sheva, home to Soroka Medical Center, bearing the brunt of the attack. Just before dawn, several missiles hit the vicinity of Soroka Hospital, though precautionary measures had relocated many patients underground. The blasts severely damaged the surgical wards and outpatient facilities. Some corridors collapsed, windows shattered, and vital systems including air conditioning, water supply, and medical gas lines were disrupted. Around 70 people, including patients, doctors, and nurses, were injured, mostly with minor wounds, burns, or smoke inhalation. A few of these injuries are serious, and the hospital remains partially shut down, treating only emergency cases in temporary wards. Staffers continue working around the clock amidst rubble that now blocks hallways and forces makeshift triage stations into hallways and parking lot tents. Fire units and security personnel are still clearing debris amid fears that structural damage remains unassessed. Just outside Be'er-Sheva, in residential districts, additional rocket fragments set cars on fire and damaged homes. Several apartment buildings suffered broken windows and cracked walls, while evacuation orders prior to the strike prevented further tragedy. Dozens more people reported injuries today, mostly from glass shards and smoke. Firefighters managed to control spot fires that erupted near damaged homes and vehicles, but the psychological impact on residents remains profound. In central Israel, cities like Tel Aviv, Bat Yam, Rishon-LeZion, Petah Tikva, Bnei Brak, and Rehovot experienced airburst strikes and drone debris spiraling down after interception. Though interception systems neutralized most threats mid-air, the debris spread caused fires in parked vehicles and balconies, shattered windows, and triggered panic. At least 20 to 40 people received medical attention today for minor injuries and cuts from shards or panic attacks. Families sheltered in place as authorities patrolled streets to secure hazards and assess damage. Earlier in the campaign, Bat Yam endured one of the most devastating blows. A ballistic missile struck a residential tower, collapsing part of the structure. That strike alone claimed at least 9 lives, including children aged 8 to 18, and injured nearly 200 people. More than 60 apartment blocks were damaged. In Tamra, separate missiles killed at least 3 people, including a mother and her 2 daughters, and injured over a dozen. Holon and Ramat Gan also saw homes and community buildings impacted, resulting in several serious injuries. In the north, Haifa's oil refinery and pipeline infrastructure sustained a heavy hit, triggering major industrial fires and forcing evacuations across surrounding neighborhoods. Thick plumes of black smoke darkened the skyline, and water and power services were disrupted in parts of the city. Emergency services continue to monitor the refinery site to prevent a toxic environmental crisis, and local residents remain confined to safe zones. It's June 13th, when Iran launched its coordinated Operation True Promise 3. Israeli officials confirmed that Iran has fired more than 400 ballistic missiles, ranging from short and medium-range Fateh 1010 and Zolfaghar to heavier Sejjil MRBMs and advanced hypersonic Fateh 1 missiles, alongside hundreds of kamikaze drones designed to saturate defenses. Iranian forces have even employed cluster munitions, broadening their attack methods to destabilize civilian zones and overwhelm interception systems. Though Israel's Iron Dome, David Sling, and Arrow systems claim an interception rate of over 90%, the volume and complexity of the attacks have still resulted in dozens of missiles reaching strategic and residential targets. The cumulative toll on Israel is grave. Official reports confirm at least 24 civilian deaths, including children, elderly, and those caught in collapsing buildings or fires. Hundreds of people, estimates range from 500 to over 600, have been wounded, with many still hospitalized in critical or serious condition. Be'ersheva's Soroka Hospital alone has treated over 240 injured patients, many of whom remain on ventilators in intensive care. Cities across the country have seen homes, businesses, hospitals, schools, and places of worship damaged or destroyed. Infrastructure networks for electricity, water, and public transport have been disrupted, leading to rolling outages and growing logistical challenges. Public services remain under extraordinary pressure. Ben Gurion International Airport is closed indefinitely. Train and bus services are halted, and highways are sealed off during active alerts. Hospitals across major urban centers are running beyond capacity, with medical personnel working extended shifts and veteran doctors recalled to service. Ambulance services continue to face delays due to debris-filled roads in coordination with civil defense. Emergency shelters fill community centers, synagogues, and schools, many converted overnight into makeshift refuge centers stocked by volunteers. Citizens are distributing food, water, blankets, and children's supplies. Independent aid groups coordinate to brace for overnight stays and longer-term displacement. Psychological support hotlines are flooded with calls from people suffering trauma and anxiety. Governments have enforced curfews in the most affected zones, while Iron Dome batteries and defense forces have been repositioned to protect remaining vulnerable areas. Despite ongoing retaliation from Israel, which has reportedly conducted airstrikes against missile launch sites and nuclear weapon facilities inside Iran and its allied territories, the pace of Iranian attacks shows resilience. Analysts warn that while Israel may have degraded hundreds of launchers, Iran still possesses a large arsenal. Tens of missile brigades and thousands of warheads remain in storage. Its use of stealth drones and diversified missile systems suggests that Iran intends to continue attacks, potentially utilizing newly produced long-range missiles or hidden launch platforms, unless Israel backs off from deeper retaliation. Israel now stands at a critical crossroad. Authorities must decide whether to press their offensive, risking regional escalation if Hezbollah, Hamas, or allied militias weigh in, or to seek a ceasefire reinforced by international diplomacy. Regional armies, including those of Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen, are on alert. Gulf states are preparing for fallout, including refugee flows and cyber threats, while global powers urge restraint. For those living through the violence, the cost is deeply personal. Families in shelters recount midnight blasts that shattered their sense of safety. Children whisper prayers in darkness. Parents struggle to explain why sirens sound every night, why their homes lie in ruins, and why they must sleep in classrooms or synagogue basements. Amid rubble and trauma, solidarity emerges. Neighbors share meals, friends offer spare rooms. Communities care for elderly and vulnerable. But Israel remains wounded. Hundreds of lives have been lost or forever altered. Billions in damage lay across shattered residential towers, hospitals, schools, and infrastructure networks. National morale is tested, but so is resilience. The country expects more strikes ahead. Defense lines stay on high alert, while emergency crews and volunteers brace for the next wave. At this moment, with missiles still on the horizon and the threat of wider war ever present, Israel's message to the world is faceted. We stand ready, we endure, and we demand that the blood of civilians not become collateral in global geopolitics. Every home toppled, every child injured, every hospital compromised makes the stakes of this conflict painfully human and painfully real.